Welcome to Drowning in Pools, episode 98. I'm one of your hosts, the Super Urban Buddha.
I am one of your other hosts. I press the buttons.
And I'm coming. In second. So.
I'm coming! Chosen one! I'm coming! Okay, I guess nobody knows, Kung Pao. Anyway.
Aha.
How are you guys doing?
Good night. Tired.
How was your week off?
Shoving food in my mouth.
Working.
Hey, what's this I hear about, Starbucks making you guys vote on some stuff?
I don't know. I didn't hear anything about that.
I read a news article that Starbucks is making people vote on some fuck shit, and that a lot of people were protesting and voting on, like, the opposite of what they wanted, of what the company wanted.
I haven't gotten any of that, so I don't know if that's, like, your district / state.
Might be. My state is fucked up.
I don't know if I got to talk about this, but I got time off because I had been potentially exposed to COVID. And
You did mention it.
Again?
yeah, but they were taking it out of my
Sucks.
sick pay first. I think I did bitch about this on the podcast. So
Yeah.
yeah, okay, never mind.
I don't think it was this time.
Not the,
It was like a week
sick
or
pay
two
stuff,
ago.
I don't think.
Oh yeah, well it's like basically like they took what they could out of your sick pay and then they paid you, so that way it was like the company wasn't losing as much money.
Right, yeah.
That's so silly.
Pretty shitty.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess technically you are quote unquote sick, so it makes sense. But again, that's kind of grubby. That's like, well, not kinda. It's very grubby.
Yeah.
I mean like I don't
Like
know.
in
It's one of those
the
things.
in the event of a pandemic, your sick pay probably shouldn't be touched at all. This should be like, they should be footing the bill. The government should be footing the bill. You know, this is not exactly a normal situation. This isn't like you caught a fucking cold or, you know, you caught some crazy other disease that other people aren't catching all the time, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, like I understand from a company perspective, but like
Yeah, they want your money.
yeah. Well, it's like they did a lot, especially in the first few months.
Mm-hmm.
So like I kind of understand, but at the same time, it's just like, But like I'm not gonna use my sick pay for fucking anything else unless I actually die. So like fuck it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh shit. What the hell's happening? Oh, I just accidentally shook one of my open tabs or whatever, and it closed all my other tabs, and I was like, what the fuck? But I just realized that's one of the features that they literally show you on, like, when you boot up Windows 10 or whatever. I hate that garbage bullshit. So hey Cameron, what'd you do this week?
I played some games. I did. I watched some anime. Let's talk about the anime first. I watched an anime called
Supposed kid
Name's
from the last
long.
Dungeon Boonies moved to a starter town.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the one. That anime is fun. It's just fun. I wouldn't say it's the greatest. I wouldn't say that if you're looking for like a shonen anime or if you're looking for an anime with a lot of depth to it, that's probably not the one for you. But if you're just looking for a good goofy time, it's a good goofy time.
I feel like all these animes with the ridiculously long names
That's all they are.
can never really hit above like a 7 out of 10. They're basically locked there forever.
I can agree with that.
You know, yeah.
Well, to a certain degree, I can agree.
Because every single one that I've ever seen has kind of only been alright, you know, like at best. They never really hit that kind of like epic level
So-
that other stuff does.
so far, all the ones that have like the ridiculously long names have all been like genre mixed with slice of life.
Yeah, because they're all like kind of comedy shit, you know, with names like that. Like, is it bad to pick up bitches in a dungeon or whatever the fuck it's called?
I was just thinking about Danmachi.
Yeah.
Or the one where the dude's mom
like,
is like super hot and she's really good at the game. She plays it too, or whatever the fuck. Like, all those ones with like the super weird long names. You know, I just they all kind of feel exactly the same. Also, you know, they never really stand out that much, except for the one with like the wrestler. But that's only because it's got a wrestler in it.
I hear a little bit of bias in that.
Oh, duh! I love wrestling.
Like, no fucking shit.
Yeah, of course it's biased.
Yeah, like if it's something that if I see a German suplex, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. I don't care, you know. I don't care how shitty it is.
Yeah, there's a ton of I feel like there's a whole like anime list of just every anime that features a German suplex.
Because it's kind of, the German suplex now is like it's kind of like going you know, in a like an anime, like doing the Dio thing or stopping time or some shit. It's just a meme now, doing a fucking suplex.
Yeah, there are a lot of tiny Japanese girls in anime that do German suplexes.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of tiny Japanese girls in real life who do German suplexes.
That's also true.
I am not joining the right groups.
Should watch more Japanese wrestling, my friend.
You should watch more clips of Japanese wrestling, my friend.
You know what? You're probably right, but will I?
It's good
Or
too.
Probably
it's
not.
it's like way better than fucking like WWE wrestling.
Again, I probably should, but will I? Probably not.
You'll be bored one day, and you'll just be like, you know what? Let me check out this OBPF wrestling or whatever the fuck it's called.
Dude,
This
I have
Oriental
so
wrestling.
many fucking games to get through.
Just do what I do and just have some shit on like your second screen or whatever the fuck. I usually play a game and have like a thing on like my second monitor, just playing, just watching something.
Yeah, same. Usually, but the issue with me is I can't concentrate on it. I hyper focus on everything. So,
Well, if I'm playing like a brand new game, I won't do that. But if I'm just kind of doing, I don't know, another one step from Eden level or whatever the fuck, I'll have like Brooklyn Nine-Nine or something on.
so you started playing it.
I did.
It's also a game I played this week.
The game was pretty fucking good.
Game is pretty fucking good.
Like, man, like it's hard for me to get used to. It was at first because the actual layout of the grid is slightly different from Mega Man Battle Network. Like Mega Man Battle Network is a 3x3. This one's a 4x4.
I got you.
And, so I'm still kind of having a little trouble with like the distances of everything. You know, like when it says, you know, because
hit tile 4 away.
Right, because in Battle Network everything is like one less, you know, as compared to One Step from Eden, which is like an extra, you know. So having trouble getting used to that a little bit, but otherwise, when shit's going well, it's going pretty fucking good. It's cool.
How many runs have you done so far? Like, just a handful or?
I've done a shit ton, dude.
Okay.
I've unlocked, I don't know, I want to say like all but like 3 or 4 characters.
Okay, yeah. So that's
unlocked
like just a.
Well, I've unlocked no, that's not true. I unlocked like the Earth Witch, Shiso, Gunner, the Shield Chick. I unlocked the other costume for Shiso. I unlocked the other costume for the chick you start with. So I've done a bunch of stuff, and I've unlocked like a bunch of like you know, new items and weapons and shit.
Yeah.
But
that's about where I'm at.
I can't really get like past like halfway. I think I keep kind of crapping out about halfway through. That's only because I'm taking a bunch of hits a lot of time when I shouldn't be.
Yeah, I've beaten a single run.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, let me rephrase that. I've beaten the seaside quest of the main run. Because there's apparently a different kind of run where you get the actual ending.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure.
I've gone in like the you hit the end of the wall and you beat it and then you have blah blah blah. You're done.
Yeah, I think.
But yeah, no,
I think because
that game's so much
I just need to kind of get used to using one character and then kind of do the run with that character. Because when I unlocked because I still haven't even used like regular Shiso. Like when I think on my first run, I think I unlocked his alternate costume, which is that like cowboy gunslinger. You know, so as soon as I actually unlocked Shiso for real, I just started using that for a long time. But he only has like 800 health, so you know I'm getting killed super fast.
I've only ever done a good run with the main character.
Yeah.
I've tried using the other characters and I just get bodied so quickly.
She's definitely like the most kind of basic of them all. She's kind of the best stuff. Like she's like the most well-rounded.
You don't have to think about your auto attacks is why.
Right,
really.
yeah.
Everyone else, you have to think about what you're doing with your autos. She's just like hold right trigger, move around the stage, cast spells.
Like
then stop.
With
don't shoot the
Shiso,
hostages.
I was using him a bunch, but he has like you press it and then you have to hold it for a little while. You have to hold it for like a good 2 seconds or whatever before it actually fires.
I used him and I immediately quit out the game. I'm like, I can't do this.
I was like, I can't wait to just kind of. I thought he was going to be like a quick like fire 6 and then it takes a second to reload, but.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
When I did that, when I saw that, I was like, oh shit! Like it changed my whole fucking strategy. I still like it. He's like probably my favorite character still. I just need to get used to not getting hit as much. But it's really good. Like him and I use the I think her name's Tara, like the witch who can like
the white dress witch.
Yeah, she's cool too.
Yeah.
I think, but you know what my favorite boss. Because this is another thing the game does. It takes a lot of the concepts from Battle Network and like does a lot of clever shit with them. Like it throws like items get thrown that you can catch and then throw back again to catch again. You know, there's a boss that I didn't realize this at first, and I kept dodging them, and I was like, why the fuck do I keep taking all this damage? She has like
the musical girl.
Yeah, the notes on your panels light up, and you're supposed to be there when they
dance.
You're supposed to dance
to
essentially.
dance
You're supposed to be there, kind of like like doing like like Guitar Hero or Dance Dance Revolution inputs, basically. Just be there when the notes hit the panels, and then you get extra shield, and then she does like an undodgeable, unblockable attack that the only thing that can block it is the shield you got from her music notes. So, you know, I wasn't dancing on the notes at first. I was just getting absolutely bodied by her. And I was like, what the fuck? I hate this boss. But then when I figured out how the fucking notes worked, I was like, this is my new favorite boss.
She's my favorite boss. She's also one of the easiest bosses for me to fight. But
Yeah.
she's my favorite boss just for the simple fact that there's that gimmick to it.
Yeah. Yeah, like the really good gimmicks. So like this has really good just little enemy gimmicks. You know, and like the cards have cool ideas. You know, it's fun. This is like a really. I have no fucking clue what the story is. This feels like one of those games where like the story is all in the supplemental material. Like it's on some artist's fucking deviant art or some fuck shit, and that's where all the character shit is. But it's just one of those games where I kind of. This could just be like a function game with no art or anything to it, I think, and I'd still like it because it just feels good to play.
Like for me right now, my favorite two characters are the engineer.
Oh yeah, I liked her too. Yeah.
And the main girl, but the engineer is my favorite because you get to put down like a turret, and then anytime you punch the turret, it gets stronger.
Yeah, but you add a shield
and
to
gains
it.
a shield.
Super cool.
Yeah. So like I've noticed like every other character other than the main character, you have to slow the game down.
Yeah, I did. I kind of learned that pretty quickly. Like you have to like think about what you're gonna do really next. Like that's something that Battle Network kind of does the opposite. Like Battle Network wants you to set up the most powerful move possible and then just kill everything in 1 second. You know.
Yeah.
This wants you to kind of dance around the arena a little bit and hit guys and use your cards a little more cleverly. Which is that's really good. I like that.
Yeah, I think the game. I think for the other characters, the game will speed up once you get further into the run. Whereas the main character, you literally just go, I hold right trigger, burr.
Yeah, and she has like like her starting stuff is some of the best, and then a lot of her starting stuff synthesizes well with the stuff you get later on.
Yeah.
You know, so you're doing like huge moves pretty quickly. Like her Ragnarok thing, which is just like her signature move or whatever. It's super good. But I also want to get deeper into like the different each character's separate move sets, because she also has that Chronos ability, which slows down time, like in her ultimate move set.
Again, that makes the game so much slower. But like,
Yeah.
I feel like the game is not supposed to be that fast-paced game that we all like. That,
It's definitely not supposed to be. Like, because think about how fast Shiso shoots, right? Like, it's so slow, you know.
Yeah.
That, like, the game wants you to stop and think.
but man, it is hard to like get rid of that feeling of the first character.
Right? Yeah. I just want to barrel through everybody real fast.
So, I do want to ask: have you seen the shopkeeper?
Yes.
Have you noticed that she's playable?
Yeah, I did see that because I forgot what I was looking at, but I did see that she was totally playable. I was like, that's super weird.
Have you tried to? Or do you know how to get her?
No. I went to I was shopping from her, and then I went into the Dark World. And I went to her shop in the Dark World, and I saw all the health shit, and I saw that she had like red eyes. So I was like, this isn't the shopkeeper girl. And I started attacking her because I thought maybe I could get something from that. She murked me, absolutely. She had like 3,500 health, and I didn't stand a fucking chance.
Okay, so yeah. So she's a boss.
Yeah.
If you beat her, you get to play her. So she is beatable.
Yeah, I figured.
I've tried 4 times.
Haven't beaten her.
Not even close.
Cause she's tough, dude. Like she's no bullshit.
So you have to like, if you survive the first 2 waves of attacks, I feel like you have a chance.
Yeah.
I made it through the second wave using the revive you get from the main girl.
Man, okay, that's another thing. Those revives, like it's because certain characters get them and certain characters don't. Because playing as Shiso, I basically almost never get the revives, But playing as like the the starter girl, I'll probably get one from like nearly every character I pick up. But it's so weird. Like sometimes if I lose like a boss fight, the boss will just be like, whatever, and just heal you so you can go on to the next level. And sometimes they'll just kill you. I'm not sure what the if there is like a kind of, is it like a random coin flip or whatever, or is it just did I do something? Did I save enough of those girls along the way?
I know there's certain characters that will come back to protect you, to revive you.
Yeah, like the Terra the shield chick will like heal you and give you a shield.
Yeah.
This music chick will kind of do the same thing. She'll heal you. The gunner will like show up in the middle of a battle and attack all the enemies at least once. So will the ice girl.
She will. So the ice girl applies fragile to everybody.
Yeah. Like I like that a lot. That's super cool. That's a lot like the in Battle Network, and in Battle Network that's a lot like summoning other Navis to do stuff for you.
That's cool.
It's really cool.
The game is fantastic. I do like at least 1 or 2 runs a day.
Yeah.
Just because it's so much.
It's
so
kind
much
of
fun.
become like the new Hades for me in that way, where it's the new game. I'm kind of sitting down to play like a couple runs just because I have time.
Yeah. That's understandable.
I'm so happy something is continuing on like the legacy of Battle Network, like this game style, and like just just like the way the battle chips have been translated into the cards, or some are like directly like the same as the chips from Battle Network, but then there's also new stuff that's like an iteration where you're like, oh, I wish this were in Battle Network, and I'm so glad it's here. Also, the references in each card got to the point where I just kind of started to tune them out.
Yeah, some of the references.
It's excessive. There's so many references to shit.
There's like Thornmail from League.
I'm pretty sure it's because like this. I think this was like a Kickstarter game or something. I get that feeling.
Yeah.
So I'm sure people were like allowed to input whatever stupid meme or some bullshit that they wanted to for the cards.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Because again, like I said, I kind of started to tune it out after a while.
You just read what they do and just go with
Yeah.
it. What's your favorite build right now?
I think with my favorite build right now is with the gunner. He has a very slow. He starts with a lot of mana, but it charges up very slow. But I've gotten to the point where I'm pretty good at kind of hitting shit with his shot. So if you hit something, you get like half the mana back or whatever. Like a full. No, you get a. It costs half to shoot, but if you hit an enemy, you get a full bar of mana back.
Gotcha.
So I'm using a lot of like mana boosting stuff, and I'm setting up a lot of like basically stuff that forces enemies to just sit in one spot. So cracking the tiles and stuff around them. Just maxing out like damage as much as possible. He also has like a Shiso has like a jam thing. Like he has I think him and Gunner start with the jam. But with Shiso, I like to get the what's it called? That Jello, and then I like to just fucking get stuff that gives me a bunch of jam, because then if you use the jam, the Jello gives you shield.
Yeah.
So I have no problem. So I feel better about just kind of standing there lining up a shot with Shiso because I'm all shielded up.
There's also another relic that you probably want to look at finding to get.
What's that?
It's anytime you cast a jam, it also shoots a frostbolt.
Okay, I think I've seen stuff like that where I think I have one where if you cast a jam, it shoots like lightning.
Like that kind of stuff. I'm like, man, the builds in this game are sick.
Yeah, because you can turn
if you can get them.
You can turn things that would normally be like a detriment into a massive bonus.
Right now, my favorite decks are poison decks.
The game really wants me to use poison shit. Like I feel like it's constantly pushing me towards poison shit.
Never necessary, but it's always there.
It's good, and there's a bunch of stuff that's like, if this thing is poison, also burn it. You know, if it's poison, also freeze it. You know, which is cool.
Yeah. So the one that I love is the combo that I love is going Anubis Pandemic. Because Anubis poisons.
Because it poisons everyone, and then doesn't Pandemic like make it worse, or it spreads or whatever?
Pandemic is an AOE that hits anything around them, adding 20 poison to them and everything around them. Yeah. So if there's like 3 things next to each other, it's like 40 and then 20, 60, 80, and then just goes up like crazy.
I also like that spell, that poison spell. That there's 2 of them. There's one that extends how long they're poisoned, and there's one that ups the ticking, basically how much damage they're taking at a time over time. Those are fucking awesome.
And there's one that says it doesn't tick down when it goes down.
Yeah,
so you're like,
it stays. Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be like 120 pop, still 120.
Yeah, which is awesome.
But yeah, the game is so much fun.
Yeah. I kind of want, like, the Mega Man Battle Network games introduced dark chips at one point, which were like, they were stupidly strong chips, you know, that had like program advance effect. Program advances were basically like the combination of different chips into one chip. Basically, the dark chips could do all that shit as just one chip, and they would have crazy effects. Like they would decrease like your maximum health permanently, or they'd make you like walk. They'd reverse all your controls, you know, or they'd make it so you had like your health would start ticking down like you were poisoned. All kinds of crazy shit. That was awesome. I kind of want that to be in One Step from Eden at some point. That would be awesome.
Because they have the shock curses that you can get.
That's
close.
Those are very similar. Yeah. But basically, how dark chips would work is, they would randomly show up, right? And if you were doing all right, you had like a low percentage. But if you were getting your fucking ass kicked, then a dark chip would suddenly show up in your thing automatically, you know, and it would tempt you to use it.
Do they boost you up though? Like they do negative effects, but also good effects.
They can't, like not permanent good effects, but like in the heat of battle, you might have a dark chip that heals like 1,200 health, you know.
but also does like.
But it might also
spells.
poison you, or it might confuse you in the middle of battle. You know.
Yeah.
You might get like the sword dark chip, which does like all like the panels except for one row, but then it like permanently decreases the amount of damage you can do with your regular buster. So yeah, crazy shit like that.
Yeah,
but
I think it's cool.
it's a good ass game.
Yeah. So I played that. I played a bunch of League. Been playing a bunch of League lately. That's been a good time. I'm back in gold. I've done 3 games in promos. I'm in gold. Or 4 games. I'm in gold right now. So
Mood.
that's nice. I'm there, which means I don't have to play ranked anymore if I don't want to.
I'm sitting at a solid like 33% win rate because I think I'm like 10 and 19 or something.
It's hilarious. My friend who plays and tries to get the plat or diamond every season has a 25% win rate right now because during his his first 10 games,
Yeah.
he had 4 DCs and 1 rage quit. He went 1-9 for his first 10 games.
I think I went like 3 and 7. It really did seem like really surprisingly one-sided this season. You know? Like more so than other seasons.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, I just played like shit, so can't really complain. So
It's fucking... it's insane. Oh, man. But you know what's fun? Playing Nautilus top. It's a good time. It's a real good time. But yeah, so like League's been going well. I've been having a lot of fun. I haven't had fun in League in a while. I think the new items make it a lot more fun.
how is God, what's it called? How is Sunfire on Nautilus? I feel like it's probably really good
Yeah, it's really good.
because you get the double proc, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I also always have... it's also nice to have all my abilities be up really fast.
Yeah, although they are nerfing the ability haste. I think they're moving it to the fist, the Frozen Fire Fist, I think.
Okay, so what is...
Or no, they
what's
might be
called?
moving it to the Chemtech. They're moving it to the speed one.
Gotcha. So what is Sunfire getting?
They're swapping the passives because I guess Sunfire was just like overperforming. So it's getting, I think, extra HP and size per item completed.
Okay.
So-
I'm A-okay with that as well.
Yeah, but like Chemtech is, I think, is like really underrated. So I'm kind of happy.
Chemtech is pretty good.
It's like it's one of those things where it's like, fuck, I just want to keep building Chemtech, but Sunfire is so much better. So I'm hoping that I can build Chemtech now on like stuff and it's not trolling.
Yeah, Chemtech is fun because just chasing people down with Nautilus is stupid. Or Rammus.
Yeah. Well, and now
Just chasing people down is dumb.
ability haste, so should be good.
Yeah. But yeah, been playing that. Power Rangers as always. I got a major coming up this weekend,
Hell yeah, brother.
so best of luck to me for that. Sorry for the low energy. I am just like, ugh.
Mood.
This whole week has been just ugh.
Mood.
What do you mean? I'm having a good week.
Oh, I mean, like, it's not like a bad week. It's just low energy. Like, I've had like no energy at all this week.
Well, after my enemy encounter last week, I'm pretty sure every week's gonna be a good week for me.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
No, I mean, I don't know. You guys aren't having like a good week. You guys aren't watching the news and watching all these rich assholes get fucked over.
I mean,
Oh, that is.
I always take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I mean, I take everything with a grain of salt, but if a bunch of rich people start panicking because a bunch of regular people are doing something that's fucking rich people over, you know, I'll always be a little happy. I can crack the slightest of a smile, you know.
Fair enough.
It is funny. Like, it is funny just watching the numbers rise, and I'm just like, oh, there's a bunch of average Joes who are overnight billionaires. All right, cool.
Maybe if they hold the line, we'll see.
Well, no, people have already bought and then sold.
Well, yeah, some people have bought and sold, but
Yeah.
more people need to keep holding on to it. I know a bunch of people in like what country? Some country, India, I think, just suddenly saw what was happening and they bought up a fuck ton of shares of GameStop. So
I was gonna say at some point you run out of shares to sell.
it's gonna stop. Yeah, it has to, but because I'm sure those shares are getting infinitely smaller and smaller. So eventually,
Like I don't know like a ton about what's called
Stocks.
investing in stocks. So like take everything we say with like.
well, I mean, I've been
grain of
following
salt.
it. I know what's going on. Look, all you need to know is that a bunch of rich dudes are mad that poor people are playing the same game they are, and it's
Yeah.
kind of revealing that our economy and our stock market, it's kind of a bunch of made-up bullshit that we've just been making up as we go along.
You don't.
So when somebody says, hey, we can't change this, just look at this. But anyway, it's really been like all anyone's been talking about for like
Pretty much.
for like 2 days, so we really don't need to
Yeah.
get into it too much. There are like
Yeah.
a billion different videos explaining how it works or anything. So
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to say like there's like it's so random just the elements that came into play here though. It's like someone's like throwing like darts at a dartboard like with notes on it like, all right, Reddit, GameStop, stock market, all right, new story, you know.
Hold. Hold.
Oh boy.
What else? I don't think I've done anything really else crazy this week. That's pretty much my whole week. And then Power Rangers, obviously, because that's always being played. But yeah, that's about it.
Wait a minute.
Nice.
There we go.
Wonderful.
All right. I guess I'll go then. I watched a couple of movies and I played some video games. I'll get the movies out of the way because they were very, they were kind of whatever. So the first one is The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot. So hearing that title, you'd probably think like, oh, this is gonna be like a stupid schlocky action film. But this is like a slow, dramatic, meditation on the end of a man's life. It's very like somber, it's not bad, but it's kind of half baked. A lot of the stuff I actually watched recently was kind of half baked. It was kind of like they had an interesting story and they combined it with like a very not interesting story. There were basically the stories about a man who killed Hitler and then he was fucked up about it for like his whole life because it didn't really matter, because after he killed Hitler they just replaced him with a lookalike and his ideology lived on. So the dude kind of just lives out his entire life afterwards, kind of just because his like girlfriend they loved died young, but they never really explain what happened to her. So he just kind of lives his life out miserably, and just basically waiting to die. And then the government shows up, and some government dude shows up, and they're like, "Hey, Bigfoot's infected with COVID or whatever the fuck, and he's gonna kill everybody on Earth. So you have to go kill him." They say Bigfoot's infected with some super virus, and that they need him to go kill him because he's like immune to the virus somehow. So this is where like the kind of goofy stuff kind of starts, because then the shots become like those super fast zoom ins and the like the suiting up and shit. But that only happens for like one scene, and then he hunts Bigfoot for like 5 minutes, and then he finds him, and they kind of fight for a little bit. Bigfoot kind of dies of the disease randomly, and he starts like building like a funeral pyre for Bigfoot. But then Bigfoot's not really dead. He was just playing dead, and he attacks him. Like, Bigfoot had to have been playing dead for, like, hours, because he's laying on top of, like, this perfectly made rock pile. Oh, dude. It was fucking hilarious. So the dude is like, oh, shit. He has to, like, actually kill him for real now, which is the thing he's been fucked up about the whole time. And he goes and finally kills Bigfoot, and it's, like, the most flaccid fucking kill ever. And then he pretends to be dead for some reason, and then he just kind of randomly comes back. Look, it's all right. It's the most interesting parts about it are the parts where he talks about killing Hitler. He meets a guy who's like who's basically gonna get him inside. He's like a spy, so he ends up infiltrating the Nazis. He meets a guy who's gonna help him do it, and the guy gives him this whole thing about like look, I'm gonna shave you, right, and it's gonna help me tell the future, right. So if I shave you perfectly, then you're gonna die. You're gonna fail. But if I cut you, that's a blood sacrifice, and the gods will spare you. So he shaves him perfect. Okay. He shaves him perfectly, but then he cuts him anyway, right? And he kind of purposely cuts him. So he goes. And earlier he mentioned if I purposely cut you, it doesn't work. But he basically says he does it perfectly and says you'll fail. Cuts him anyway and goes, all right, so you're gonna succeed, but you're gonna lose everything else, essentially. Which is what happens to the guy. Which is like the best part of the movie for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like all the kind of bits where he like has all this shit on him, like random stuff, like a flask and a pen and some other stuff. That when he sneaks into like Hitler's main office, he like lays in front of it on a desk so he can be searched, takes all that stuff, and then as he's walking down the hall, he puts all that stuff together into a gun and then goes and shoots Hitler in the face. He hands Hitler a letter, and then it says I forgot what the letter says. Hitler opens up the letter and he pulls out the thing and it says Uncle Sam got you or something like that, and then he looks up and the dude shoots him in the face. So that's all like the best parts of the movie. The most boring parts are the parts where he's just walking around as an old man, and the actual hunt for Bigfoot. The other really good scene is where the government guys kind of come, and of course, since Canada can't handle its own problems, the American government, because that's where Bigfoot's in Canada, and Canada can't do shit about it. So they ask America for help. And the scene where the FBI agent is talking to the main character, and he's like, basically like talking about his father, and his father mentioned a guy who secretly went to go kill Hitler, and how he was the most badass dude ever or whatever. And that's where Sam Elliott, the main character, gives his speech about basically how none of that shit mattered, and he's not some fucking crazy super action hero that you thought, which really speaks to the whole movie, because it's not the crazy action film I thought it was going to be when I first started watching it. So it was good in that sense, but it's just kind of lackluster at the end. I watched the B-est of horror movies, Luther the Geek. It's about this guy. So the original definition of a geek is just a guy who bites off chickens' heads, right? So that's what this movie's about. This dude is in prison for murdering a bunch of people, and there's a parole board hearing. There's like a psychologist and some lady and a couple cops, right? And the cops are like, we can't let this fucking guy out. He's a fucking insane psychopathic murderer. And the lady and the psychologist is like, no, he wants to be paroled. He wants a second chance. He's been working real hard. So the first shot we see of the guy is him filing his metal teeth into spikes, and then walking out into like a grocery store and just eating raw eggs straight out of the fucking cooler. This guy doesn't say a single fucking word. He just clucks like a chicken the whole fucking time. So it's very obvious this guy is not healthy at all. So it really makes you wonder what this chick saw in him that made her want to parole him. Because the first thing he does is start killing people. He kills some old bitch out in broad daylight outside the grocery store. And this is also like the most ineffective, like, kind of fucking serial killer ever. He's just a dude with sharp teeth. So the only reason he even gets anything done is because he either sneaks up on someone or because the people he's terrorizing are just fucking retards and they kind of just let him kill them.
Just a dude with sharp teeth.
He's literally just a guy with sharp teeth. Not even like a young guy either. Like a fucking over the hump dude with sharp teeth. That's it. He clucks like a chicken.
Oh my god.
And that's literally all he does. Like there's literally no reason anyone should have been defeated by this guy anyway, but constantly like the main characters are like getting tricked, or they're just getting caught off guard, or you know, they're getting out muscled. It's super crazy. Like everyone in this movie is a fucking idiot, and that's the only reason this dude gets as far as he does. There's like the family he terrorizes is like the only capable character at all is the mom. The daughter is a fucking idiot who like there's a serial killer running around the house, so she like slowly is walking around the house, you know, like there's nothing going on. You know, she's supposed to be finding scissors so she can go free her mom who's tied up upstairs, but she's like kind of like I'm gonna look in the cabinets, you know, kind of just taking her sweet fucking time. You know, instead, like when the cops finally show up, instead of like trying to get the cops' attention, like because the dude sends her out to get rid of the cops, and instead of trying to get the cops' attention at all, she's just like, no officer, nothing's wrong, please go away. You know, she's not like signaling to him or anything, because the serial killer's nowhere to be found. He's not watching them because he's off busy killing the boyfriend apparently. Just super weird. I wouldn't recommend this movie to anybody, but if you want like, if you want just some goofy dumb bullshit that'll make you laugh, check out Luther the Geek. I also played a little bit of South Park: The Stick of Truth, just a little.
Okay.
It's okay. It's all right. It's like a pretty standard RPG. It's kind of just like playing an episode of South Park. Really, it's not. You know, it's not. You know, it's not really exciting, super exciting or anything. The gameplay's okay. It's like a very active like turn-based system. You can like parry and block attacks and like decrease damage you might take and stuff like that. So that's cool. But other than that, it's just like a typical kind of like South Park RPG. It's just you're walking around the map doing side missions. It's just like, hey, remember this thing from the show? Remember this thing from the show? Remember this thing from the show? So,
it is.
Well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's surprisingly good for what
It is pretty decent, yeah. Like for me, the best part is definitely like the actual gameplay, like the combat. It does do this thing where it's like, oh, look at this incredibly stupid overused trope, isn't it so annoying? All right, well, fight it. Just do it. Instead of like actually subverting the trope or anything, it just does it. Like it says how stupid it is, but then it just does it straightforward anyway. So it's like, you know, it's like, why'd you even bother? You know, it's not because the joke isn't even there really. You know, you're just saying how bad it is, and it's like, okay, I agree. This is shitty. So why'd you do it? You know. But other than that, you know, it's pretty good. It's just it's not the kind of thing that I'm really excited to jump back into though, because they're I guess just way better RPGs. Speaking of, I finished a dungeon in Persona 4 Golden because I kind of put it down for a little while, but I had a dangling Chad of a fucking unfinished dungeon, so I decided to finish it. It's the video game dungeon with Mitsuo, the killer. I can't believe Mitsuo, who clearly knows what's going on, obviously was the killer. Incredible. So I guess I could just put the game down and never play it again. But I'll probably jump back. What?
I was like, who the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, that freaky weird looking dude.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I already know what that dude's deal is. He seems like the kind of guy who just said he did it for attention. I haven't actually gotten past that point yet, but every time one of the characters brings up something specific, he just goes, huh? What? Whatever, you're all idiots. Yeah, I did it. And it's like, okay, you clearly didn't do this shit, bro. So, you know. Plus, I'm obviously only like halfway through the game, maybe. So,
You're there's a lot of like not combat to do.
yeah. I like. There's a lot of I'm kind of shocked at the amount of days where you can kind of just do nothing.
Yeah, well,
Like-
because like it really is a series that's better the second run through when you're maxed out and you can have like all the extra options and stuff.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm kind of waiting for. Because I do feel kind of shitty that I'm missing out on a lot of like the relationship stuff and kind of building friendships and all that with a lot of the characters. Just because I kind of missed a thing one day, or
I mean, you're not taking Chie to the meat dimension? What's wrong with you?
you know what, man? I want to take Chie to the meat dimension, but she's a little fucking annoying. So I'm gonna take what's her face instead. Shit, I'm blanking on her name now. Yukiko.
Oh. I actually like Ryusei more.
You know what? I'll take Risei too, because Risei is just begging for it, basically. So.
Yeah. Let's not say it like that, but yeah.
I mean, she is. She wants that attention, so she'll do anything to get it. But yeah, Chie is just kind of annoying. She's constantly bitching and whining and like worried about shit, which is what I expected Yukiko to be. Yukiko ended up being how I thought Chie was gonna be. Yukiko's like kind of down to earth and laughs at dumb shit, and you know, she worries about stuff, but she's worried about real things. You know, unlike Chie, who's just worried about, I don't know, dumb shit. Yeah, Yukiko's more interesting to me. But yeah, Risei too. I mean, I only really just got Risei, but I mean, the way she's like the wench, or not the wench, but the wedge in between everything. Like, she shows up and immediately everyone's like, man, this fucking bitch.
Yeah, I know. Which I thought was like really unfair. Like, yeah, she's like clingy to the main character, but like that's kind of
yeah,
she's not like
it's
mean or anything.
It's definitely just those characters being super jealous that she's clinging on to you so hard. And it kind of surprised me, because when she first showed up, it kind of makes sense. But when she first showed up, she was very like not like that. It really seemed like she kind of just wanted to be left alone. But I guess as she became more comfortable, her real personality came out, and it actually was that she wants all the attention all the time.
Yeah.
So, which is fine, you know. She's not like annoying about it, really. Like, there are other characters who can be annoying about it. She's just competitive about it.
I really need to fucking finish this game on Steam. I keep forgetting like all my data is on my PS Vita, and so I'm just like, I keep going through Persona like on Steam, and I'm just like, fuck, why am I here? I just want to finish the game. Like,
It's good. Like, even that little bit I played, I was like, damn, did I just get back into Persona 4? Because it was just that good. Like, it's such a good game. Like, I
can't stress that enough.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel it.
Like, I think I told you before, like, this is kind of like my new Golden Sun, basically. Like, just how much I enjoy playing it.
Yeah, it's hard for me because like there's some quality of life stuff that happened in Persona 5 that like it makes it really hard to go back to Persona 4 and forget that all that shit isn't there.
That's why I didn't want to touch Persona 5 until I touched Persona 4, because people kept saying Persona 4 Golden is like one of the best RPGs ever. So I was like, okay, I want to try this out and then try out the newer stuff, just in case there's like anything that makes it so I couldn't go back, you know.
Yeah, but like I think the style of Persona 5 did it for me way more than anything else. Because, like, for the most part, the quality of life stuff I can kind of get over. Because, like, I play XCOM. Like, fucking quality of life is a myth. Like,
Yeah.
but, like, the style of Persona 5 is so just, like, even if it's, like, because I've played through the game, I want to say, like, 3 times now. Like, fully, right? So that's, like, let's say, like, 40 hours conservatively, right? like I've done that like basically 2.5 times. That's 100 hours of into that game. Like fucking that style just does not get boring. You know, it's always interesting. It's always like it's just so cool. And there's a contrast. I think that's the biggest thing is like there's a contrast between Mementos and like the real world and how the game presents itself. You know, because like Mementos, it's all like the comic like aesthetic, I guess, all that jagged shit, and like in the real world, it's more normal. So I always thought that was a very interesting like change. And then in Persona 4, it's kind of the same control layout, so or like visually, so it's a little bit less interesting for me.
Yeah, a lot in Persona 4, it's just like, you know, it's the real world, but it's got like a goofy color design. That's about it, you know. It's nothing really spectacular. Okay. Did I do anything else this week? I feel like I did, but yeah, that's it. Oh, read One Punch Man. They just revealed who Blast was, just kind of nonchalantly. If you know anything about One Punch Man, you know that Blast literally never shows up ever. Every time, if there's like a world-ending threat, he probably won't show up still. And his identity has been like the biggest question mark of the whole fucking series. Everybody's been like, "Oh, this character is secretly Blast. This character is Blast. This character is Blast." Turns out, all along, Blast was Blast because he just kind of shows up. So
that's the biggest switch around.
I need to go watch. I need to go watch season 2.
Literally, when Blast shows up, it's like the characters are kind of just wandering around, and then a black hole opens up, and there he is. And he's just like, "Hey guys," and everyone's like, "Is that Blast?" You know, there's like no real fanfare at all. None of the characters are like, "What, Blast? What?" It's just like, "Oh, it's Blast. It's about time you showed up." There is one character who's like, "Are you really Blast?" And he tries to test him, and then he does like the "I appeared behind you and told you to chill out" thing. So, yeah, it's just Blast. Blast is Blast. He's Blast all along. He looks like he got a fucking Nike deal because his outfit is like the most like, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. It looks like someone from some shoe company came in and was like, "This is what you're gonna wear, buddy." But he looks like a superhero ass motherfucker. But it's kind of cool how they just revealed him. I don't know what this is gonna mean for the story because in the webcomic he hasn't even shown up yet. He's just kind of been mentioned a few times. And the webcomic is supposed to be like the base story or whatever.
You know what he looks like? I just looked up what he looks like. It makes me think of what's his name from Bunny and
Tiger and Bunny?
Tiger and Bunny.
That superhero show?
Like,
yeah.
It looks like superhero from Tiger and Bunny.
Yeah, because what is that? That show's about like corporate sponsored
superheroes getting sponsored. That's the entire show is superheroes getting sponsored.
I watched like the first 10 minutes of it. I kind of want to get into that show, but gotta like open up my week for it or whatever. But yeah, it is a lot like that where he looks like a corporate sponsored superhero. He looks like a fucking celebrity. That's it. You know. What about you, Derek?
So, contrary to what I normally do, I played a screwy game. I played a shit ton of Resident Evil over the past 2 weeks. Because, basically, so, my roommate got done playing Sekiro, and his friend wanted to keep torturing him, so he gifted him Resident Evil 2. And, and I was like, well, I have Resident Evil 2, I should probably, like, I want to stay ahead of him, essentially. And so, like, I kind of, like, was like, oh, I'll stay ahead of you a little bit, and then I just wanted to finish the game. And so, like, over the course of, like, probably 4 days, I went from, like, oh, I'll just stay ahead of you, to, oh, I'll finish the game, to, oh, I'll do the second run, to, I gotta get an S so I can, like, get the infinite ammo pistol. Like, essentially, I just went from, like, finishing the game to, like, well, I'm running through this shit again, so...
Yeah, it's one of those games where, like, the more times you run through it, it feels like the easier it is to just run through it. Like, you just feel more comfortable going through it, so you just kind of breeze past everything. You're like, man, I kind of want to do it again.
Yeah, and, like...
It's not a super long game.
No, like, it's well, like, there's... The funny thing is like, yes, it's not a super long game, and also there are challenges for beating it in like under X amount of hours. So like, for an S rank on the first playthrough, which is slightly longer than the second playthrough, I think it's like 3.5 hours, and the second playthrough is 2 hours, or 3 hours, and the hardcore drops it by, I think, half an hour for the first playthrough and then an hour for the second playthrough. So you have to beat the entire second playthrough in 2 hours. And I was just like, how the fuck? Like,
that's people who are like, I'm not even gonna bother picking up any items. I won't kill zombies. You know, I'm just going through this shit.
But like, it was kind of funny, and like, I got really, I guess like I'm not into Resident Evil, but like I'm a lot more open to it because like, I don't really like scary games, but Resident Evil is just like the beginning. Resident Evil 2 specifically, the beginning is super tense, but after that it's like, or the beginning is scary, and then the rest of the game is just tense, you know?
Once you kind of get focused on getting shit done, it becomes more about the survival than the horror.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, it's cool because like I'm getting used to like the mechanics and stuff, and like I'm like, I don't need this and I don't need this, and I'll just like drop my like, you know, SMG or whatever, and just be like, I only need like
that's
5 rounds.
That's like true like video game comfortability when you're fine dropping items. You know, you're like, okay, I'm definitely like okay with this situation now.
Yeah. Admittedly, I was using a walkthrough, but this was just because I didn't want to fucking waste all my ammo and shit. I will say the last boss battle, the Super Tyrant of Leon's campaign, it fucked me up real good. Like for assault, like that was probably the hardest thing in the entire game. Was the Super Tyrant battle at the very end of the game, which is like okay, like whatever, but I was super happy with it. Also, okay, one thing that like I'm kind of glad that they did, but also is like kind of like bruh, is like, so there are these statues, and if you kill all the statues, you get an infinite the combat knife with infinite durability, right? But it acts like any other combat knife. So if you use it to avoid damage, it gets stuck in the zombie.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to kill the zombie.
Yeah.
To get it back, which like is understandable because essentially like it makes sense that that's the case. It's just kind of stupid, you know?
Like 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 since it has to be a knife, it's just an infinite version. It still has to function like the rest of the knives. So
yeah, I was hoping it would be.
Doesn't, but I guess the thing is, it's like it would be kind of broken if you could just infinitely get out of damage with that knife. So
well, I was hoping,
leave it in the one and then kill it and then get it back and then.
See, I was hoping it just wouldn't have that option, and you would just be able to use it like a Resident Evil 5 knife.
Oh yeah.
Or like
cutting shit.
Yeah.
Or it'd be nice if you could have like 2 knives on you and use.
Well,
one
you can,
to...
but that's the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So
it like defeats the purpose because you still gotta waste a knife.
yeah, well, it's
So,
like you use the regular knife as the damage deflection, and then you put like 2 shots in their face, and then switch to the infinite knife to just swipe at them while they're on the ground.
Right, yeah.
And then you have to pick the regular knife up and remember to equip it again. Otherwise, you will use the infinite knife, and then you'll have your fuck knife. And so it's just like, fuck. Like,
And
this
guess
is...
what? This is how RE players actually play the game.
Have you...
Fucking psychopaths.
Dude, there's some crazy motherfuckers who have done, like, no damage runs of, like, the extra... Which reminds me, I need to play the extra game modes. I need to play, like, the Ghost Survivors game modes and, like, Fourth Survivor and Tofu Survivor and all that kind of shit. But I started playing a little bit of Resident Evil 3 and the remake. And I know it's not super long, but I bought it on sale, so fuck it. But, like, I don't know, like, I'm having fun with it. I really want to get... Or I bought Key on Resident Evil 5 for when he finishes Resident Evil 2, because that's the co-op one, so we can play it together. I didn't realize that Resident Evil 6 was co-op as well, but we'll see if he likes Resident Evil 5. I want to go punching boulders, so...
Resident Evil 5 gets a bad rap. It's not that bad a game. It's just not as good as Resident Evil 4.
Well, the thing is, like, it's an action game with zombies in it. It's not, like... It's not a horror game. But, like, RE4 wasn't a horror game either. It was an action game with zombies in it.
I'm doing the podcast here.
Yeah, RE4 was, like, kind of like... It had those horror elements, but it was in the process of leaving them behind. And then RE5 had, like, completely left them behind, really. And it was more about the action.
Yeah.
Which is, in fact, RE5 was more like the Resident Evil movies than it was the Resident Evil games.
Yeah. And, like... I don't know, like... I don't get very
Not at all.
like up in arms about stuff for the most part, you know. And so like I was watching some like reviews and shit, and it's like essentially like the RE3 remake was like shitty because it cut out a bunch of stuff and like that kind of like it wasn't representative of like the original Resident Evil 3.
I saw a story that said basically Capcom was very not happy with it because I think they wanted to make a bunch of changes and the team wanted to keep a lot. They wanted to keep a lot of things the same. So I think the ultimate compromise was just really to cut shit out.
Yeah, well, it's like the other thing too. Apparently, was that Resident Evil 2 and 3 was supposed to come as a bundle. Was what I heard.
Really? I didn't see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
kind of explains RE3 and like how long, or the remake, how long it is, and just a lot of stuff about it.
All 4 hours of it. Like,
yeah.
And like it does come with
that makes sense though, because it all happens on like the same night or whatever. So
yeah, I think it's over the course of like 4 days.
Capcom wanted to do that. Yeah.
But like, well, and with RE3 they released the Resistance or Survivors mode, whatever. Like it's like the multiplayer thing, which is like it's cool. I haven't played it yet, but I've like seen some gameplay. And like,
but I don't know anyone who's actually even playing that. And they just announced yet another multiplayer RE thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I've seen gameplay and it seems like all right, whatever.
I mean, like I've seen gameplay, but I haven't seen people playing it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
No one's streaming it. No one's like talking about it. No one's like talking about 6 strats. You know, even people who were huge RE fans that I know have not brought it up at all.
That's my way in. That's how I'm gonna get big. But well, it's like it's kind of cool because there are characters in there that actually become like that are important to the story, kind of.
Yeah.
So like you see someone who becomes the Thanatos from Resident Evil Outbreak. So it's like it's stuff like that where it's like interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
And like I like games like that are like very obviously like side projects that got tacked on and also have relevance to the rest of the story, even if it's not like super important. That's how you know I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan. But like, I don't like. I get very, very upset at certain things, and nothing else really like gets to me. And so like I was watching this dude who like he very obviously like loves Resident Evil on YouTube, and like that's cool. Like he gets that excited about stuff, and I get excited about other shit. But he's just like bitching and bitching and bitching, and it's like he was bitching that like the RE3 like campaign was not, or like the RE3 campaign essentially was not worth $60, even with the multiplayer packaged on. And I'm like, I was sitting there thinking, I'm like I get his being upset that they cut a lot of stuff from RE3 remake, but like they're very obviously supporting the multiplayer thing, right? Like because they were coming out with new shit too at the time.
Yeah.
And it's just like I know you're not used to this as like a single player like Resident Evil player, but like this is standard for games like to have a focus on the multiplayer. You know, like I was just like, this is a little bit.
For Resident Evil.
I'm not saying it should be, but like it's one of those things where I'm like, I think you're just kind of like that seems like a complaint that's mildly out of touch with today's climate. You know.
Sure, but if it's not like good for Resident Evil, I can see why he's saying that, because Resident Evil is not a multiplayer thing. You know, even they can try all they want, it's never been successful as a multiplayer thing because nobody wants to fucking, you know, they've never done it well, and
people want it, they just want it done well, and
they've never done it well, so it's never been successful. So they've always tacked it on to something else, right? And if people just want the Resident Evil 3 remake, they don't want the multiplayer bullshit tacked onto it if they're never going to use it. They just want the remake of the game they liked a long time ago, you know.
I guess
if it were just, you know, the RE Resistance stuff as like its own separate thing completely, then nobody would give a shit. Nobody would even bring it up. It would probably just die, you know.
To me, it's like when people like order a meal and then are bitching about how like expensive the burger was while ignoring the fries and drink, like that kind of thing. Like, it may not be what you went for, but, like, that's what you're getting sold. So, like, I don't particularly see a problem with it.
They're shitty that's what they're being sold. You're like, I just want the burger, but you keep trying to force the fries down my throat. And I don't want the fries. I don't want to pay for fries I'm not going to eat.
It's the same thing as what Call of Duty has been doing lately, where you pay for the single player game, but multiplayer is less. So you're not actually buying multiplayer and the single player game. You're not even buying the multiplayer game now. It's free.
Well, that's just the battle royale. That's not the actual multiplayer.
Well, yeah, but
I don't know. It seemed very like, out of all the things that he was saying, because he was talking like very specifically about like story beats and stuff like that, and like I totally get it, but like about that kind of thing, it was just like very out of touch, you know?
It's like I don't know, if it's like any totally single player game, and then suddenly jam the multiplayer on it, you know? What if Hollow Knight, which is like a $20 game, $15 game, got fucking multiplayer tacked onto it, and suddenly now it was $60, you know?
That's still like Hollow Knight
That'd be
by itself is
shitty.
worth $60, but yeah, I get your point.
You know, like it's not like suddenly tacking that on. That's not what the thing has been about for so long, and then forcing people to pay for it more. And I just want like, I just want like this 30-40% over here. You know, tacking that on rubs people the wrong way.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Like, there's just a lot of stuff where it was just like, this is unreasonable.
Here's an analogy for it. People are treating it more like a pizza than it is like a meal with like fries and stuff. So like they're like, why do I have green peppers on my pepperoni pizza? I just wanted pepperonis.
I guess
Yeah.
like to me it's just like,
That's like, but the thing is like if the green peppers added like $5 to $10 to the pizza, you know.
Yeah, like that one extra topping cost whatever the extra little bit of price was.
And it's like the green peppers make me want to throw up all over myself, and you're forcing me to buy them, you know. It's like I can sit there all day and eat around them or pick them off, but at the end of the day, you maybe pay for them. And that's what makes me. I guess that's what makes people kind of shitty.
yeah, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
the fervorance, I think, is what caught me.
I can see like both ways. Like I can see the games trying to evolve and become both the multiplayer and the single player aspect, but they're gonna have to go about it in a better way, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just like, for me, it's like not worth getting that worked up about.
Yeah.
But like, obviously, I don't have that.
It's clearly not killing Resident Evil,
Yeah.
you know, as RE8 has shown us.
Yeah. But like,
So
also,
it's like,
I don't have the
it's
ties.
not that huge a deal.
Yeah. Well, also, I don't have that ties, like those ties,
Yeah.
like to the old games, for example.
Yeah,
Right?
because you also gotta remember, Resident Evil is like classic video game. You know, it's like, it's if there was like a horror game Mount Rushmore, Resident Evil is on there, right? So it's, you know,
Yeah.
it's very important to a lot of people.
And I could see that, like, if they like reshipped Modern Warfare 2 without the multiplayer and made it $60, like I could see that, you know.
Yeah.
I could see that because like that was like essentially like, this dude for Resident Evil was like me for Call of Duty, right? Like I used to absolutely just destroy that game. But I don't know, like it just struck me as very, very like out of touch for someone who, for the most part, was like very reasonable. It was just like very jarring.
If they're like acting like they don't understand why it's in there, then I totally get that. Like, it's like, bro, come on, it's the video game industry. You know why the shit's in there. You know what
Yeah.
the deal is. You know, it's like it's one thing to criticize and say it doesn't belong, but it's another thing to act like you're completely blindsided by its existence.
Yeah. Well, it's like that's kind of what it was, or at least that's
Yeah.
that's the understanding I got from it. Was like, and it whatever. Like it doesn't really matter, but it was just something that hit me the wrong way. But anyway,
Yeah.
so well, it's like okay. The other thing too is that Resident Evil games always have been multiple playthrough games, you know.
Yeah.
And so like, it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, is on average like, and I was watching a playthrough that wasn't like a speed run per se, but like, the dude knew what he was doing, right? For the most part, like he kind of forgot some stuff, blah blah blah, but like, and it was about 5 hours, right? And so like, at that point, like most people who try the game, because I like most people like me, I think, or not most people, but like a lot of people probably got into Resident Evil 2, the remake, because it was a remake of a game they never had the option to play, and
Yeah.
went in like kind of blind. and Resident Evil 3 will probably have the similar, like, probably would have had the similar statement, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, yeah, it's like I would say it's probably more like a 6 to 7 hour game with multiplayer tacked on, which is understandable. And then on top of that, you're expected to do multiple run-throughs at that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I get where he's coming from for, like, dropping the story beats and stuff, but, like, in the context of a game series that has always been about playing through multiple times, I think the length is less of an issue. Anyway,
That's how, like, when DMC4 came out, DMC4 has its problems, but a lot of people were, and especially after DMC Devil May Cry came out, people were saying that, like, they were about the same in quality because DMC4 was very short and it had a lot of reuse levels, but, like, the DMC games are also not one playthrough games. They are go back, play through the game again, learn those moves, buy all the moves, do the challenges, you know, do the fucking tower or whatever.
Efficient.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's some games, especially like Capcom games, are not about just getting through the game. They're about playing the game and learning the game and, you know, doing stuff in the game, not just getting to the finish line.
I was gonna say, Devil May Cry games are like, they're not the same. They're not the same concept, but the same ideology behind roguelikes, where you do a run, and you go, that wasn't good enough, and you do it. You do another one.
Like the DMC games specifically are almost like you almost have to put in the same work in learning DMC as you do as learning like a fighting game.
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, all those combos and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
it might be why a lot of fighting game players also like
DMC.
DMC, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? And that's also why fighting games can be $60 because you're not just putting in the time to run through the fucking story mode once or twice and the arcade mode once. You're learning the game and doing all the shit in the game.
Now, if netcode was better, I would agree with you 100%.
That's true, yeah.
Because the whole point is you're buying this game for the experience to play online after doing all these runs and perfecting and getting better.
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, that's most of what I did this week.
Since we were talking about Resident Evil, let's just talk about 8 real fast.
I actually have not seen anything about it besides the character.
You mean Lady Dimitrescu? Or whatever her name is?
All right,
Lady D.
Pull up YouTube.
Lady Big Mommy Milker Titties. You know what? I looked back. Probably the biggest tits in all of Resident Evil. Pretty sure.
Probably, actually.
Some of the, it was, a couple of the
the
biggest,
most sex appeal Resident Evil has ever had.
Really, like I'm looking at this character. This might be like one of the hottest characters Capcom's ever made. Capcom's made some pretty fine ass ladies. This is
better than Laura.
Oh yeah, dude. This chick is 8 feet tall.
That's right. That's your stick.
Yeah, dude. Like, I like Laura. Laura's, like, muscular and hot and fun, but, you know, like,
8 feet
come
tall.
on. Lady D. It's a giant lady.
Oh.
Like,
Anyone who says anything else is cowards. They're cowards.
Have you ever seen Monsters vs. Aliens?
No.
In that movie, the main character is this lady who gets turned into a giant.
Oh, no. Yes, I have seen Monsters vs. Aliens. Yes.
And like her boyfriend breaks up with her because she's a giant.
Yeah.
I get mad at that every time. I'm like, bro, that's the best shit ever. That's my dream, and you're walking away from it.
How dare you? You know what? That just means she's single for you.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, Lady D. So I've been hearing some rumors about Resident Evil 8 because I'm decently into like the Resident Evil storyline. Some of the Resident Evil is kind of like Kingdom Hearts in like the side with all the side games and shit it has. That do and don't matter in ways. And a lot of stuff kind of gets fuzzy for me, but I do know a huge chunk of it. And people are saying like Resident Evil 8 is going to be about like the origin of the Umbrella Corp, basically where all their shit comes from. That Lady D is basically like a chick version of Mr. X, essentially. She's the tyrant. She has like the claws. She's super huge. I'm excited for this game. I put on Twitter, I was like, I'm gonna be dying a lot.
I still think one of my favorite like memes is run into the door. You get to the door, you lock it, turn around, go. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I think I posted one to Discord. It was like she grabs you and it's like SpongeBob, and he goes, "This is the greatest day of my life."
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then there were like some people who were like, I've seen this talked about a couple times before in other places, but there's some people who are like, "Oh, you guys aren't gonna like her when she turns into a giant monster." You fool! You stupid fool!
And
the risk of being killed by a giant monster is 50% of it.
Did you see what he posted like 4 hours after he posted that?
Who?
So the guy posted that picture like, you won't be excited for her when she turns to a giant monster.
Oh yeah.
And then like 4 hours later he posted, "Are you serious, guys?" Like, you don't understand. The depravity of the internet is
like,
going
come on,
to
dog.
be...
She's gonna turn into a giant monster, and I'm gonna be more in than I ever was before. Either that, or she's gonna get her skin and shit ripped off, and be all battle damaged, which is still awesome. Because then it just becomes cool. Because then it becomes like a cool monster that's chasing me.
Yeah.
Which still makes my dick kind of hard.
Let's move on, shall we? Oh, dude, actually, I have one more thing that I had to talk about.
What is that?
Yeah.
My computer decided to go fuck itself. So I've bought 2 more sticks of RAM, right?
Gotcha.
And so I use a B chipset, which is like kind of the lower tier chipset for AMD, because there's like A and B essentially. And but like they're a lot cheaper, and I don't really give a shit. Found out.
It works.
Found out. So technically, my motherboard only supports up to like 2666 megahertz RAM, but I've been running my 2 sticks at 3200 megahertz, right? So I buy 2 more sticks, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna treat myself. Gonna upgrade to 32 gigs of RAM, and try to run at 32. No dice. 3000, no dice. I eventually whittle it down so it's just like slightly overclocked and like a 5% performance increase. And then like I'd go to turn my computer on last night after I get home from work, and it says my fucking hard drive, or my solid state drive, needs to be repaired.
Oh.
Like it just blue screened like immediately after BIOS, and I was just like, I've heard that this happens if you're having RAM issues. So I restart my computer, like go down to like the top clock speed that's not overclocking at all, works just fine. So I'm just like, fuck. Like,
so you just need to get a new.
Yeah.
No, it's like I can manually overclock it and like mess with the timings and stuff, because I think it's something about how the memory is accessed that is the issue. But honestly, like I just kind of don't give a fuck. Like I might do it in the future just so that way I have like an idea of what the hell I'm doing, but like it's kind of a pain in the dick to like have to fix that shit constantly. So but anyway, so if anyone ever has that issue where you put in some new RAM and suddenly your boot drive needs to be repaired, try lowering the RAM speed and doing that shit again. Like you'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised.
All right, we can move on. Sorry.
No. I was gonna say, like, you'd be surprised on how much small little things fix everything. It's just like,
some
fuckery. Oh yeah, I don't run this program at the start anymore, and now my PC runs just fine.
Yeah. Okay, can we talk about the Mortal
Godzilla
Kombat
vs.
11
King Kong?
thing?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
The Mortal Kombat 11 thing.
Yeah, some dude got
fucking
got banned from the tournament.
Fucking. Well, did you see what for?
Yes.
Fucking.
Why did call himself? Why did NRS do this? Yeah.
Why? That is the dumbest shit ever.
But also, why would you get banned for that though?
Again, no. Again, him saying that is not the dumbest shit ever. Him getting banned for that is the dumbest shit ever.
Gotcha.
Is the
That's what
dumbest
you're saying.
shit.
Yeah.
Like the only reason why there's a few scenarios where I could see it okay them banning. There's no money involved. It is a like their own personal event, and they gave him warning. Those are like the three things to make it okay. Like if it was a charity event, it was their own personal event, and they warned him and tried to tell him to change it.
Yeah, that's the thing that's like the most fucky about this article is that he didn't get a second chance. He just got immediately disqualified.
Yeah, they just took his match from him, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
Did you even tell him like, oh no, you need to change your name?
yeah.
I'd be like, that's funny, but could you like, like at least give the So if there was like previous scenarios where he's done stuff like this before, and he's got warnings there, maybe then. But like still,
Even still, it's like this is such a light ass, like it's a fucking tap, right? Like it's
like
a joke.
The name's not even anything crazy. It's just like
right. It's not an insult. It's just like, hey guys, this is kind of messed up, right?
Question it. It's just a question.
Like, it's... And, like, yeah, obviously he's kind of making fun of the company, but, like, yeah, it's not even, like, fuck NRS or, like, NRS is shitty. It's just, like, why did NRS
It's like a
let
joke.
this
It's like,
exist?
I can't believe this is such a good combo, right?
And
It could mean anything.
And also, what if that's just been his tag always?
For a long
he's
time,
been playing
yeah.
Mortal Kombat games, like, for the beginning, and that could just be his name.
Yeah.
But I read the
but-
article, yeah, but, like, it's like...
It's not. But...
But it could literally, it could be any number of things, and the fact that they just disqualified him just like immediately like that with no kind of deliberation at all. It's such bullshit. It's like like it's the kind of thing that makes you think some dickhead was watching the tournament and didn't like his name and got him taken out,
Yeah, it's just... it's
someone
dumb.
took it personal.
Yeah.
I don't
instead
know.
of being instead of being like, haha, that's funny, they're using this really broken shit. Maybe we'll take it out someday, maybe not, and then moving on with their fucking life. They gotta ruin this other dude's life. Or at least his fucking match.
Yeah, it's just... Like, it's shit like that always makes me, like, really, really stupidly upset.
Yeah.
Because, like... And I... Understand is, like, the wrong word. But, like... I understand the company's movement more when it's a non-American company, but NRS is an American company.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck?
And this is again like Nintendo shit where it's someone who probably fucking loves your game and you're punishing them for what? Because they did something you kind of sort of disliked a little tiny bit.
So, I didn't read the article, so why was the reason his name was that? Did they ever state?
It's because Shiva's a little bit broken.
He has a personalized moveset, like, cause you can customize their movesets and shit, and basically that specific combination was like busted almost.
So yeah, because NRS recently just opened up the game to having all different, or being able to have your own movesets.
Yeah, in tournaments and stuff.
So
It's still fucking stupid though.
Yeah.
and it's not like it's unbeatable.
Right, it's just like it could because even like, why did NRS do this could just mean it's really hard to get around. Not even necessarily that it's broken, just that it's like really tough to get around, or it's ridiculous, or maybe it's just stupid looking. Maybe the combo is goofy looking, it makes their ass stick out,
Yeah.
But it's like, it's just the fact that they disqualify him like that is just such bullshit. It's fucking retarded. It's infuriating.
Yeah, like, I think about that kind of stuff with, like, if I was playing the game and I did something like that, or, like, my name is very often taken sexually, and, like, if I got disqualified because I used the name that I've been using for years,
Oh yeah.
like, I would be like, no, like, fuck off. Like,
Probably wouldn't be able to do any like Blizzard tournaments that are being broadcast in China at all, because they'd be like, well, he's got a sexual name, so take it out.
like, that's just so stupid. And, like, I expect better from a company. And, like, the other thing is, I can kind of get it if it was, like, a sexual thing for, like, a Nintendo game, Like, I kind of understand that. But, like, fucking, it's Mortal Kombat. You are ripping people's throats out and dropping F-bombs.
You would think they'd be a little more mature about the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, it's
being
like
Mortal Kombat and all with their history.
yeah, fucking.
Yeah.
They are the ones that push the boundaries of video games. Like
Right.
somebody being like, "Hey, this is slightly broken," or like, "Hey, like maybe this shouldn't have been let through QA." Like that shouldn't
Like
fucking get him
like
suspended.
this studio is the one that's like that's like pushing stuff to gamers. Like, hey, gamers aren't stupid assholes. They can take more mature content. You know, they can take more violence or whatever. So it's insane that they're treating us like they're treating like they can't make their own, like they can't say what they want to say and they can't make their own decisions and they can't like criticize them. Like,
Yeah, it's
it's
fucking stupid.
retarded. It's anyway.
Okay, what's this cyberpunk bullshit?
So
They're getting sued.
again,
What's new? Like,
because you know, everybody decided to just kind of jump on it. You know, it's just another lawsuit. They're just gonna sue it again because
this might be the time to invest in CD Projekt Red and then like buy
right,
a
'cause
bunch
it's about
of
to be in the shitter.
stocks.
They're about to get short sold.
and then like buy 51% of the stocks and then just be like, okay, don't fuck up. Like,
Right. Yeah, but it's just more. It's just more news about Cyberpunk being a not good,
Released too
not
early.
honest product, and
I'm just going to call it. It's just released too early. It's the product that was released.
It's an
too early.
early access. All you people who got Cyberpunked into buying it are playing the early access version.
I can't wait for this game to be fixed and then go on sale for $20 and I'll pick it up in like 2 years.
I literally said the exact same thing. I was like, I'm gonna wait for CD Projekt to just give it away for free on Games on Gold or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what they do. Because they did the same thing with The Witcher 3. You know, with all the Witcher games. In fact, they were just like, hey, do you have an account with us? Then here's this game for free. It's like, all right,
There it is.
thanks.
You can play our game. See, like, that's
play
not,
the perfect version of the game, also like the final complete version.
That's not a terrible idea because then you get people interested in your games, which means future games they might buy where they wouldn't have bought it in the first place.
It's almost like it builds goodwill that you can then burn on your next game.
It's almost like that's the entire Epic Games model.
Like, God, the funny thing is like, this is probably one of their hardest flops because like Witcher 3 came out and it was also buggy if I remember correctly, but like for the most part it wasn't terrible. And then they added like DLC that I think it was like $15, but it essentially was like another game's worth of content.
Because the thing about all like those is that like they put out the games, but then weren't also like, this is the fucking most revolutionary piece of art ever. You know, this is gonna change video games. Get fucking hype, gamers. You know, they weren't like that with the Witcher games. They were just like, hey, here's The Witcher 3. Play it, have fun. And they fixed it as time went on.
You know, the funny thing is, they did the most marketing for The Witcher 3, and it was just like, yeah, it's coming out. Like,
right.
Because Witcher 1 and 2 released, and like, I had no idea except a video game, Zero Punctuation reviewed them, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, I guess, whatever. Like, I have no idea about these games. But like, and then The Witcher 3 came out, and I saw a couple posters, and I was like, oh, they're actually doing promo for it. Like,
Right.
Oh my god.
So
Okay,
yeah, it's like they were really reaching for the stars with this one, and they couldn't even, like, they just completely fell on their fucking asses.
Yeah.
Remy, sit. Speak. Fuck! Good boy.
Okay, let's talk about this fucking movie. Like, I've seen memes.
Which one?
So,
Oh, the Godzilla vs. King Kong?
Yeah.
I really don't even really give a shit about this. I like Godzilla and I like King Kong, but like their last few movies have just kind of both been terrible to me. This, like, if this were like Shin Godzilla versus like, I don't know, the giant monkey from Rampage, maybe I'd give a shit, but I don't really like this version. I don't like this version of either of these characters.
All right.
I really, but I guess I'll talk about the trailer. The trailer is clearly tailor made to be the King Kong trailer, because if you watch it, King Kong just like beats up on Godzilla like the whole time, you know, and it's clearly focused more on King Kong. He's doing most of the shit in there. Godzilla basically just kind of swings his tail and shoots a laser and swims. That's kind of like his whole thing in the trailer, except for getting beat up. So I expect the next trailer to be the Godzilla trailer where he's beating up on Kong and doing all the Godzilla shit. The only thing I'm really interested in at all in this movie is the rumors that Mecha Godzilla is going to be in it. If Mecha Godzilla is in this fucking movie, I will...
You'd be hype as fuck.
I will at least skip through it to get to his scenes.
You'll be hyped as fuck, but specifically for Mechagodzilla.
I'll be hyped for fuck. I'll be hyped as fuck for Mechagodzilla because it that finally makes this kind of boring monster universe interesting and exciting. Because now we're getting into the goofy, dumb bullshit of giant robot lizards. You know. Do you guys know what Mechagodzilla's deal is?
Not a clue.
I know it in pop culture, not like in this series.
So Mechagodzilla was built around the skeleton of the original Godzilla from the original Godzilla movie, and basically he just whoops the fuck out of the new Godzilla for about an hour and a half, and then he just kind of blows up, and then that's it. But it's awesome. Mechagodzilla has like drill fingers that he shoots, and you know, all kinds of crazy shit. It's like the Green Ranger's. He's basically just like the Green Ranger's Dragon Zord.
I'm pretty sure they just straight up ripped that off of
Pretty much.
Mechagodzilla. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
but does he give him hugs as a White Hawk? And I think the answer is no. Therefore,
Well,
the
not,
Green Ranger's
not as a
better.
White Hawk, but they do team up later and high five and stuff.
Oh, fuck. God damn it. Tommy, why you let me down?
Did the Dragon Sword ever come back in Power Rangers?
No, okay.
After he became the White Ranger?
No, so, well,
I forget
kind
what
of.
happened to it. Didn't he get like destroyed or something? Or he lost the flute, so he couldn't summon it anymore.
Yeah, like, or it got destroyed, I think.
Something happened to it.
Yeah,
That
but
was
it's
devastating.
technically like still roaming around the Power Rangers Earth.
Yeah.
But it's just not like near people. I guess.
It's unusable.
Yeah.
It's just hanging around.
But like, yeah, no, canonically, it's still just chilling, waiting for somebody to like talk to it. Essentially, and it's just like that's kind of really sad.
What is the story behind the Megazords? Because I feel like if Zordon built them, he could just make another flute and just get the thing out of there. But I think the Megazords are like from something else. Like he didn't make them.
Okay, so the story's kind of changed because I think that was the explanation in the movie, like the new movie. But I don't, and I was watching the like old series, and I don't think it was ever actually explained. They're just kind of there.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because again, like we were talking about this before, like some of the government ones, I can understand where like the powers come from, right? And like the more government-run Power Rangers things, like all right, the government built giant robots to fight evil. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But when it's we showed up on Earth randomly, and then suddenly we're summoning a giant T-Rex out of the Earth, it's like, okay, what's the deal here? You know what? What's
I could go ask Uchi.
I think the stuff in the movie, like the stuff that the movie like.
Because the stuff in the
explained.
movie was like they were spirits or whatever, right? And then they became their Zords.
Yeah, I
And that,
think
like
that
they,
was
like
the case.
they became their powers and then became their Zords or whatever. Like they were just magical things that became huge physical things for some reason.
I'm gonna be real with you. I was in college at the time the movie came out, and I did not get to see it. But, like from what I can tell, like
Oh, you're talking about
kind
the?
of.
I'm stupid. You're talking about the
2017 movie.
the
Yeah.
recent. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
talking about the fucking one from like the
Ivan Ooze
90s
one?
or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm talking with the coins and the fucking the rock, and they fought all those fucking crow monsters.
Yeah, that's how
Talking
they.
about two different
That's how they fucking transitioned to a new season of Super Sentai. Was by making them
Super
ninja.
weird, yeah.
Oh my god, it's so cool. Anyway, no, like, I think in the original series, like, it was kind of like a one-off like line where they're like, yeah, there was a battle like a long time ago, and like everyone died, and like,
Right, and all the Zords just got sent around the universe or some shit like that.
yeah, and like,
Because
fucking-
even what's his name, Magna Defender has his own Zord, just kind of randomly. You know?
yeah, and like. It was just like, yeah, this is left over from a battle from a long time ago, but I think that was like really the only explanation until later.
Yeah. That would be interesting for them to get into. I want to see. I don't know. Like again, in this hypothetical, more serious Power Rangers show, I would like to see more of the history of everything, like where it all kind of came from.
I think there was a comic that was released along with
I'm
the
sure.
movie that like showed the old stuff. Because I think Zordon was like the old Green Ranger, the old Red Ranger. Or something.
No, he was the old Red Ranger, yeah.
Yeah.
And he died, and because the Rita or whatever Rita was the old Green Ranger.
Yeah. So, but anyway, like, yeah, I think there was a comic that like showed that, And ironically, the Blue Ranger died in that one too. Like, just like a lot of crazy shit like that. But yeah, I don't know. Like that entire time was just fucked. Like, they don't explain shit, and it's just like it's a kids show. Just roll with it. And we're just like,
Right. Yeah. It's like you didn't think about it. You just saw your toys fighting monsters on TV. So.
And you know what? That shit was sick.
Right. That was all you needed.
That's all you needed.
So let's keep moving along here.
All right. Guilty Gear Strive basically just released the Deshaun's gonna buy this game trailer.
Oh, that's a good trailer.
Because they showed it has fucking rollback, and it has a setting where you can just open up a menu and press get into a match, and that's it.
That's so good.
So congratulations, Guilty Gear Strive. You just sold a video game. Because I was probably I was not sure when they were showing all the shit about the online stuff before. I was probably still gonna get it, but I was gonna wait. But now they're showing, hey, it's gonna have just an option for you to just get into an online match easy from right in the menu. Don't worry about it. Sweet. That's all I needed.
The one thing I'm excited for that I'm never gonna touch is all the story mode shit.
Oh yeah. Holy
I'm
shit.
never gonna touch it. But guess what? That means it's easier for someone else to do it and then tell me about it.
Well, I mean, if you got like 3 hours, I can tell you the entire Guilty Gear story because I know it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna watch Wooly versus videos and just do it that way.
Let me tell you, the Guilty Gear story is long and convoluted, and it gets kind of stupid.
I heard a little bit about the backyard, and I'm like,
the beginning, kind of like the beginning kind of bits of the story are like okay, right? Like, all right, this makes sense. There's a big war, giant, weapons of war were made, and we all regret it, okay. But then as time goes on, and you start finding out like who is actually in charge and who that man is, and like where he's been and what he's been doing, and and like the backyard, and just kind of what characters keep doing, you're like, all right, this is fucking stupid. You guys are kind of just doing this shit just to keep the story going, because otherwise, if you had just nutted up and handled the situation from the beginning, you wouldn't be here.
Also,
there wouldn't be any more Guilty Gear games.
So, I was just watching the video. They really just said there's even crossplay between PS4 and PS5. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yep. Oh yeah. Like they're really trying hard to make this the fighting game that everyone loves and plays.
No, but like that's no shit. They're taking up the same space on the PlayStation servers. Like that's just how data works.
Oh yeah.
Like fuck it. Are you kidding me? Like, sorry, that hit me, and I was just like, bruh.
They're Guilty Gear is listening to people. Fucking thankfully, people at Arc System Works are listening to people making this game. So, holy shit! Hopefully, this is a good fighting game.
Hopefully. All right. What? Okay. So
moving on.
Warner Brothers will have a heavy focus on games being as live service.
A live service.
Like, well, congratulations, they want to make money. Okay, moving on.
Pretty much,
like,
yeah.
Like I read the article and it was just like
they're basically just doing what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, well, I first read the article and it was like, well, we expect it to be like that because this next game's like online. I'm like, yeah, no fuck, like what?
Right.
Moving on.
Because the games they're talking about are the Hogwarts Legacy like online game, so no fucking shit.
And Back 4 Blood.
Which is gonna be online, so no fucking shit.
Yeah,
and Gotham Knights, which is a co-op online game, so no fucking shit.
Yeah, it's like fucking. Are you kidding me? Like
so,
that's like League of Legends is being seen as a live service. It's like yeah.
Like, no
I'd say.
Yeah. It kind of relies on other people to be played. Fucking
right.
God damn it! Give me another Pokemon game. All right.
Moving on, Hitman 3 recoups project costs in under a week.
Okay, this is actually very surprising to me because the last two Hitman games that I read about did not do super well. Or like they were big sellers, but they weren't big like critically.
They were because they were very good games. Like they were like everyone who talks about them who played them is like, yeah, these are like the best Hitman games aside from like Blood Money, I think, so I'm not surprised that Hitman 3 did really well. I didn't think it would literally make all of its money back, like basically in under a week. That's nuts to me.
I think that this is a little misleading. I mean, I'm sure that it's actually correct, but they said that this is the first game they've self-published. which I think means they probably didn't have to deal with a publisher.
Probably costs
so
less
they,
to do.
No, that's exactly what it is.
Well,
Yeah.
they got more revenue. I don't think it costs less to do, but like they got more revenue by themselves.
You got a bigger
So-
cut of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, of course. I mean, like fucking. I mean, it makes sense and good for them, and hopefully it continues and they just keep making good games. But at the same time, like I think this is a little misleading. Okay.
I
Let me-
can see why. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get to the big one that I'm trying not to get my hopes up for, which is potentially a new KOTOR game being developed.
Yeah. I figured this would be like a reboot kind of game, the same way Doom was, where that some of the stuff from the previous games will be canon, but they'll mostly probably be going with new stuff. You know?
Yeah.
You know, there's the one thing I hate about this article though is that they still haven't stated what company is working on it.
Well, it might just
Well,
be that
'cause
the
that's
um
it hasn't been announced yet. Because there's another article that said you won't believe who's
Yeah, that's the
doing
article
it.
I read. Was that
and neither will we because we don't fucking know. Like
Right. Like
This is-
it's very much it's probably they're probably keeping it a secret because probably some crazy, developer. I don't think it's gonna be like a
I don't
BioWare
think
or
it's gonna be a
Obsidian or
big
anything.
developer.
But watch it be Telltale.
You know, watch it be Telltale.
actually, I would dig a Telltale game in the Star Wars universe. Straight up, I love
Yeah.
Telltale games.
Because that would be cool, and it would be cool for them to do that with KOTOR because KOTOR, a lot of it is the dialogue and stuff. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
like
wouldn't mind
also,
them. I wouldn't mind kind of trading in the combat for a more story focused kind of dialogue heavy game.
I also think if Telltale just had gotten a better engine over these last like 5 years,
Maybe
they will be
it
fine with
it
doing a
depends
little-
because they've kind of sort of came back because they got bought by Skybound or whatever.
Yeah.
Who knows if they're using like a better engine or anything. I hope so because that is one of like the biggest criticisms of Telltale and like a big part of why their games kind of stopped being as well loved after a while. That and the
Yeah.
writing, of course, but yeah, like who knows? That would be really cool if Telltale did like a KOTOR game.
I would be down, especially because I was such a huge fan of what they did with the Batman games. I thought their two
Yeah.
Batman games were probably like, and their Borderlands game too, probably some
Right,
of the
yeah.
best games that I've played, even after playing Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I legitimately think the Batman ones were way more interesting. So
Yeah, because I kind of didn't like them at first because I wasn't really feeling the Batman, but as time went on, I was like, I like the directions this story is taking and kind of how it explores Batman's character, and like the different ways you can the different kind of angles they give you to look at Bruce Wayne and Batman. Really appreciate
well,
it.
and especially because you essentially create the Joker in the second game,
Right, yeah.
which is super cool. Like, I thought the fact that there was actually there's okay, fuck it, I'm spoiling. There's really only one way for the game to end, essentially, which is the Joker being created. But like
Right.
how you get there and like how they, like how that ending actually resolves is different depending on which way you play, and like that's interesting. And like the way they did it was super fucking cool. Like
It's such a huge like departure from like the normal kind of Batman Joker relationship. Where, like they take the fact that Batman creates the Joker and then they kind of extend it and make it into like this huge relationship that they had.
yeah, or it's like, and you could be friends up until the point where the Joker goes more
Turns,
psychotic. Yeah, and like even then, like the ending I got was like, why did you save me? Or like the Joker's like, why did you save me? And Batman's like, because we're friends. It's like fucking,
Right.
like that's totally, like that's a cool ending, Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, god damn it, like it's really well done, and like
That's a
and the Tales
good
from the Borderlands
example
is
of
cool.
kind of changing the character, not necessarily for the better, but for like the more interesting. Like instead of just making Batman and Joker enemies like usual, you kind of explore this thing between them, and it, it's not like fucking Batman versus Superman, where Batman's just a murderer for virtually no reason, and there's no real build up to anything. It's like we looked at this character, we decided to focus on something about him and change and give it like a meaningful change.
Yeah, I don't know. I really dug it.
It's good, yeah.
And Tales from the Borderlands is just a really good story
It's
overall.
amazing. Yeah, it's so well written. It's a fun story. It's got a lot of good twists and turns. It's fulfilling.
Yeah, and the characters show up in Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
Well, at least one of them does. I don't know about the other ones. Oh no, yeah, the other ones do too. Anyway,
Yeah.
but I'm So in this article also it said that there's a Fallen Order sequel being produced.
Oh yeah. We already knew that, I think.
I did not know that.
Oh really?
I'm sure it's been announced and I just wasn't paying attention.
I think because I think literally I don't think it got officially announced, but I think like one of the devs was like, yeah, we did really well with it, so there probably will be a sequel.
Oh yeah.
You know.
But
well, either that or like it's like EA is fast tracking a sequel. I definitely saw an article about a sequel happening, but I forget the exact specifics.
Which I'm happy for because I like that game.
Yeah.
But I hope that they will, like, I hope it gets a little bit more violent, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like, just a little bit.
You mean violent? Like, do you want more action happening, or do you want like dudes getting their shit cut up in weird different ways? Like like a guy getting sliced from like groin to
Do you want
head
more
or
violence or more gore?
I want more lightsabers acting like lightsabers.
Okay, so
like
yeah.
okay,
Like, not necessarily gore, per se. But, like...
Yeah.
but cutting through stuff like easily.
Yeah, well, it's
and
like
not
fucking...
just bouncing off some guy's armor or something.
Well, it's like, there... used to be big Star Wars nerds, so there is, like, Beskar Gum, and there's, like, armor that is specifically resistant, but, like, whatever. No,
there are some
like,
armors that do it, but for the most part, not everybody's walking around that fucking armor.
Yeah, it's fucking expensive shit. But in that game, like... You can slice things in half, right? Like, there are enemies you can slice in half, but they're all, like, animals. It's none of the humanoid characters. And, like, even the droids you can slice in half. And so it's, like, it seems... Like... I would like to see that be not the case in Fallen Order 2. Because, like, that really draws you in. And, it's kind of hard to be like, oh, it like makes you think about what you're doing, but like because it's essentially like a Dark Souls game where you're trying to kill everything anyway. But like,
and as we know, despite all their holier than thou bullshit, Jedi have no fucking problem just cutting someone down in 1 second.
Yeah,
no
like
issue at all, you know.
But like, I think it would be a chance to tell a more like interesting story about how that can change a person. Like, 'cause, to be fair, I haven't finished Fallen Order, so it might do that already, but like I kind of doubt it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how Disney is. You know how Star Wars is. Anytime there's a chance to tell a more interesting story, they go, nah, no thanks. At least now.
Well, it's just like
nowadays.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I hope that that's what happens because like, and like we know that you can get a T rating while cutting people in half. Force Unleashed did it like twice. Like both games are rated T, and you can cut stormtroopers in half.
Force Unleashed had some horrible shit in it where you could hold a guy up and he will like scream for help and mercy, and like if you have like two guys you're holding up, they'll reach out for each other and try to help each other, and you can just throw them off the fucking edge of something.
I mean, let's also put it this way: the movies themselves are only rated like PG-13, and you see someone get cut in half, hands cut off.
Yeah, fucking in Last Jedi, fucking Snoke gets cut right in half at the
right
waist,
in half.
You know?
That was such a good scene. Like,
but also Last Jedi is like the ultimate example of, hey, here's an interesting story. Nah.
yeah, that is also.
When a character literally goes, who are my parents? And another character goes, nobody. And instantly all the interesting shit just completely drains out of the series.
You know, that would have been fine if they kept it that way.
I was thinking about it. It would have been really fine if her parents, if they kind of met in the middle, where her parents were nobody. They were essentially, maybe they were just like Luke's students at his school, and they got killed or they escaped, and then they had her, but then they ran away because they wanted to protect her.
Yeah, that would have been.
You
fine
could have had
too.
the best of both worlds and totally, it could have been your parents aren't that special. They were Jedi, but they were kind of nobodies, and then there you go. But no, they really just went with they were nobodies. They were drunks. They would just traded you for beer money. It's like okay.
Oh, just like my parents.
It's like that's not really like a. That's not even like a twist. It's like an anti-twist.
Yeah. Anyway. I don't know. Like, I hope to see that because like I was thinking about it and I was like, fuck, like we have it, and I was like, oh, of course, like the Force Unleashed.
Because you know what? Something I like that doesn't really happen in Star Wars that much. It actually happens in like Force Unleashed quite a bit, but like you're talking and then suddenly a lightsaber appears through your chest because a guy's like standing behind you.
Yeah.
Like I like the turn on my lightsaber in your chest thing, but you don't really see that much. So that kind of violence would be a little interesting. I'm sure like a Telltale game.
Turn on your
would get into that a
lightsaber
lot.
should be done way more in.
Turn on your lightsaber if there is a Telltale game will just be like the one option that's always there. Turn on your lightsaber.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I hope that there's a little bit more to it as far as that's concerned, because I think that's like, to me, that's the only thing that really takes me out of that game, because it's like it's written pretty well, it plays pretty well, it plays surprisingly well like on computer controls, right? Like it plays well on
Mouse and keyboard.
yeah, which is surprising because fucking Dark Souls does not.
No.
Nah.
It's not.
But like it feels like it was like not made from the ground up like that, but they like were very like these are going to be intuitive controls. So like the only thing is that like I kill a stormtrooper and I'm just like, okay, I guess I'm playing with a baseball bat, and then I kill a droid and it's like, oh, he just got like straight up sliced in half. Like this lightsaber needs to figure out whether it's lawful good or lawful evil. Like
Right.
so
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to see that. And it's not like, yeah, you really wouldn't even have to make it M either, because lightsabers don't cause bleeding; they cauterize the wound as soon as it happens. So it's like,
I assume it would be
cut.
under fantasy violence.
yeah, yeah. I guess just, but even like the clone troopers or the stormtroopers, it's like, are they even, you don't really see their faces, so you could kind of just disassociate yourself from the fact that they're like kidnapped orphans and shit.
That's not something I'm comfortable with agreeing with.
Well, it's true.
It is.
As what's his name showed us, they just kidnapped him from his home world and had him clean toilets and shit. So
Yeah.
like a lot of those stormtroopers are just randos who are basically innocent people who are just getting cut down and killed and murdered. Like, not everybody is like that guy who attacked Finn in Force Awakens. That guy who screamed traitor.
Yeah.
That dude's probably a loyalist. That dude's probably super in it. He's like,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
What a
Fuck
douchebag.
yeah, the Empire.
But both of the Force Unleashed games just have T for violence. So
Yeah.
like they could do it, but will
super
they?
could. But that was also back before they were owned by Disney, I think. So.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like they could do it without bumping up.
Oh, they could. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm gonna keep holding on to that hope. It's a fool's hope, but I have it.
Me too, because I hope that this KOTOR follows in the footsteps of the previous two and have something interesting to say about Star Wars and the Force and the philosophy surrounding everything in this universe. Because it would be real shitty if it was just more, we gotta stop the bad guys because they're dark and we're light.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the gray Jedi ideas essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's way more interesting when the threat isn't, someone who's extremely on one side or extremely, like when it's a guy who's just like because this happened in Tor, or not in the Old Republic, like the online game.
Yeah.
The villain was he was the former former like ruler of the Sith Empire out in like deep space, and he became a spirit and took over the body of this guy who was like a Jedi he decided that to kind of teach everybody both sides of the Force, and he was like this big fucking gray evil, basically a gray threat to the universe, but it didn't really go too much further than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited, so hopefully don't fuck it up.
Don't fuck.
Oh, also, I guess because we didn't really talk about it, but Lucasfilm was revived
Yeah, the game
for all of
studio.
these games.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about that, but yeah, they really brought it back, which is cool.
Let's hope it actually does something.
Yeah,
All right, should we call it a podcast?
yeah, that's a
I think so.
podcast.
All right, you guys, where can we find you?
You can find me at Super Urban Buddha on Twitch, Mr. Urban Buddha on YouTube, Mr. Urban Buddha on Twitter.
You can find me at Cayman Second on Twitch and YouTube, and real_CIS on Twitter.
And you can find me at IPT Buttons on Twitter, and then I Press the Buttons on YouTube and Twitch.
And as always, go fuck yourself!